What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode. Oh, wrong way. Of Dark Avenger Live. I'm still getting used to the mirroring. Hello, welcome back. The show is back. Unfortunately, not as a full-time weekly show just yet. I see I've got some people somewheres. I've got a Brilliant Atevia in YouTube. I know that I'm also streaming this on Twitch. So whether you're on Twitch for Chaotic Falcon 86 or YouTube, which is Dark Avenger C86, welcome in. We're going to talk about previews today, mostly DC and Marvel. I'm just getting back into a lot of independents, so we won't talk about them this month, but maybe next month. I actually do have a PDF of all the list of all the stuff coming out for independents, so I just haven't had a chance to look at it. So we're going to skip Independence this time. I got a really nice birthday present from my friend Pegasus. I'm going to talk about that. We've got topics to talk about. We've got Hell Divers too to talk about. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's talk about the stuff that's on camera already. So my friend Pegasus sent me a really nice care package for my birthday. So he had sent me a couple of Deadpool items. He got this. I guess he won it at a place called Time Zone. So he got me a little stuffy Deadpool. He got me some Tim Tams because he knows I love Tim Tams. He got me some other chocolates. I didn't grab those because I didn't want them to melt. He got me this Deadpool, which I'm really happy he got it because I kept debating whether I wanted to grab this or not. Now I got it. So I'm really happy about Deadpool. Deadpool looks amazing. And then he got me the Gingerbread Superman from DC's Christmas line from this year. And it looks really cute, honestly. But okay, so I love it. You guys know how I am with Deadpool and how I am with Wolverine and Spidey and stuff like that. So the fact that he knew what to get me was really nice. So thank you, Pegasus, again for the wonderful birthday presents. I really appreciate that. Now let's get into some talk. Let's get into some topic talk. Do I want to talk about the topic or do I want to do previews? Actually, let's talk about Helldivers, and then we'll go into the comics. Let's get the gaming stuff out of the way real quick. How about that? Helldivers, everybody? Did y'all enjoy last weekend when Helldivers literally went from Game of the Year all the way down to literally now the most disliked game of the year, most disappointing game of the year? Wow! It took Sony literally 2 days to ruin a really great game. And now Arrowhead is trying to get everybody back, and it's not succeeding. And it's sad. I'm really sad because I did really, truly love Helldivers, but oh my God, what happened was such a tragedy. So I'm kind of sad about that. I have no idea about what you're talking about, Tevia, so I can't highlight it. But biggest tank ever, agreed. What did they do? What's up, Ryan? So what did they do? So the whole debacle and craziness started with PlayStation saying that as of the end of May, all players will have to link up a PSN account to their Steam, which we've never had to do with any other game franchise like Spider-Man or God of War that was part of the Steam library. But now for Helldivers, for some reason, they wanted it. Obviously, it's to show, oh, look at all the people that are on our network, but it really wasn't. Most of them would have been on Steam. But the problem started where certain countries, over 150 countries, more, I think 170, did not have the ability to make a PSN account. So all those countries lost access to Helldivers 2. And the requirement behind it just really upset a lot of the players. There was so much involved. And then the way it was handled, it just kept getting worse. It became a snowball effect. And in the end, Sony backed down. However, they fired a couple of the head developers at Arrowhead who are telling people to continue to bomb the reviews, to review bomb it on Steam in order to get PlayStation to listen. So they kind of went against the company that funded the game in the first place. So Sony didn't like that. And then apparently the new war bond has a lot of people upset. And then on top of all that, and one of my complaints that, especially with the newer stuff that's been coming out, the nerfing of guns, constant nerfing of guns. This is a PvE game, not a PvP game, not a competitive game, not something that should matter to honestly anyone. And yet, for some reason, they kept nerfing the guns. Now, Brilly did play devil's advocate to me and made a good point. You know, it helps slow down progression because people were progressing really, really quickly. That's true. However, they just continue to nerf guns down to nothing, to the point where it was bad. It was just very bad. So in the end, they did gain some people back by rolling back the requirement for PSN to be linked to your Steam, but they already lost so many other people. They still haven't given access back to anyone in the 170 plus states that don't have the ability to make a PSN. There's no promise they won't try to do this again in the future, and a lot of the Arrowhead developers are now fired. So it became the most disappointing game of the year in one foul swoop. Yeah, basically Helldivers is gone. That's right, Tevia. Yeah, that's what I mentioned. I did mention that. I just mentioned that a lot of the staff got fired. So in the end, and Tevia, I have no idea about the Microsoft news. Sorry, bud. Not something that I was attentive to, or something that's crossed my radar in things that I'm doing, so, or playing. So it never came. I think somebody was talking about certain games being taken off of the yeah, it does suck, Ryan. So I heard something about games being taken off the Game Pass, but that's all I heard about. So let's talk about previews before we get into anything, and we're going to start with DC Comics. So over the past 2 months, I have been really getting back into comic books, and I've been far, far behind in many ways, in many places. So I started with DC and Marvel. Independence is very easy to jump back in, especially with Turtles starting up again in July. Can't wait for that. But anyway, so I've been watching a lot of channels. I've stopped watching a bunch of channels. This is part of the topic we're going to talk about after, and I'm not going to get too far into that either, because that's actually the first topic for Dark Avenger, the Dark Avenger podcast. However, it's just become apparent that I need to talk about this as soon as possible, so I might just redo the first topic for the Dark Avenger podcast and just do it all here. But yeah, Tevia, I'm warning you in advance. It's been years since I've been on YouTube. I have a new modding staff. They've been moderating a lot of my stuff on Twitch, and this is going to be a no joke policy. We're not talking about the same subject over and over again. I'm only going to say this once. We're not talking about the same subject over and over again. We're not going to talk about, we're not going to dive into super hate towards the big two. And I'm going to get into that with the topic also, but I'm just going to say that in advance because I see you starting to post a lot of comments over and over. We're going to put a stop to that now, as opposed to a problem happening later on down the road, if you understand what I'm saying, bud. See, that's what I mean right there. We're going to just do, oops, that's the wrong button. We're going to just do this to that comment. Okay. We're going to start with DC Comics. So please contain yourself, Tevia. I know you're passionate, but I think you're listening to the wrong people on YouTube. I'm glad you're watching this channel and a bunch of other channels that actually like to try to stay positive through most of the stuff. But anyway, I'm going into the topic. I'm going to stop. Absolute Power Ground Zero. I'm going to be getting into the event for DC Comics because it's the new event. I haven't read an event book in a very, very, very long time. And I will say that I'm definitely grabbing the black and silver Superman costume. It is a huge, I can't tell all of you how much I love the black and silver Superman costume. The only thing I love more than the black and silver Superman costume is the black and silver Superman costume when he had the long hair as well. It has been a huge, huge, huge love of mine. I wanted to see it come back. I'm glad we're seeing it here. I don't know why we're seeing it here. The last time he wore that was because of losing his abilities. We're also getting it for Absolute Power issue number 1. I don't know if the camera will zoom in that far, but there is a variant for Absolute Power issue number 1 where we're getting that again. So I will definitely be grabbing that. Oh, okay. Now I see why the silver. Okay, the silver costume is a big. Okay, so there's apparently a big mural they're going to be making. They're going to be making a big mural with all of the covers. That's interesting, and I might actually those are the covers I might actually be getting. Okay, then. Now there's a bunch of tie-ins. We've got Task Force 7. It's already it's 2. Oh, they're doing 3. So we've got 3 issues of that. Absolute Power Origins. I'm not surprised we're getting that. Superman, which is going to be attached to it. Y'all know I'm already reading Superman, so that's fine. Wonder Woman 11 is going to be tied into it. Batman 150. I do like these variants they're going to be doing very soon. Those are going to be really cool. I'm going to try to read as many tie-ins as I can, but this is going to be going on right in the middle of Blood Hunt, and Blood Hunt just started. The House by the Sea. I feel like I've read something like this before. I might try issue number 1 of this again. Let's see. Absolute Power has my interest, even though I know you're burnt. I figured you would be. You've been burnt out on events for years, Tevia. Apparently the event is going to depower the heroes. That's why the silver and black suit. Okay. That makes sense. So it's going to be interesting to see that. Joker the World. Again, we're going back to Death in the Family. Death in the Family, Robin Lives. If Robin Lived. We saw that through a What If DVD set. So I guess getting it in a comic book form is okay, but hopefully after that we can kind of stop with the Death in the Family. I'm had enough of that. Dark Knight Steel All Winter. I'm looking forward to that. Dark Knight Steel was a really cool miniseries that I enjoyed reading. Wish I could have reviewed it. I will be doing Gotham by Gaslight, the Kryptonian Age, because obviously we're going to have Superman somewhere in this, and I'm going to want to read it. Unfortunately, I am far behind on all things Batman. At some point, I'm hoping to catch up on Batman, maybe after we get through the events that are, or the thing that's going on with Batman right now. But Batman Superman World's Finest, I have been keeping up with. So I'm looking forward to this issue. I really love the cover for Action Comics 1067. Looks really, really good. I see we got a Darth in chat in Twitch. Can I highlight that? Yes, I can. And SM2099. Sometimes catching up is more fun than staying on top of all the new stuff. Collecting runs or trades and binge reading. I prefer more than week to week. Love the hard. I will admit I do love hardcovers, man. I will admit that 100%. However, I do love my week to week. It gives me something to read every single week. But while I was away, your philosophy is exactly what I was doing. I was waiting and reading things like 2 and 3 issues at a time together and binge reading. I haven't really been feeling Sinister Sons, but I'm going to finish it out because it does involve a Superman character. And I haven't really been reading Kneel Before Zod. I have heard good things about that, and I have been collecting it. Goes back to the binge reading. Flash, I fell out of. Titans, I'm hoping to get into at some point again. Green Lantern's been very, very strong as well. So I'm really enjoying Green Lantern. It looks interesting. We're going to have Sinestro as a Red Lantern. And it's an Absolute Power tie-in as well. I haven't been reading Green Arrow or Blue Beetle. I will be reading the mini-series for my adventures with Superman. And Tevi's excited for Super Sons. That's cool. The facsimile for Tales of the Teen Titans 44. I actually have the comic book I have the original of this one, so it's cool to see that they're making a facsimile of it. And of course, to answer Secret Wars that Marvel's doing, we've got Crisis on Infinite Earth, the facsimile series they're bringing out in foil form. Yes, I am grabbing it in foil form. because it's really cool. I'll probably get the Teen Titan one that way. Not reading Zatanna, not reading Boy Wonder. And I think we're going into young readers. Yep. And now we're going into collected books, which I'm not going to get into. So that's all I'm reading from DC is really going to be a lot of Superman Absolute Power and a couple of books here, there, and everywhere. I might actually be getting into Nightwing as well. So that's DC. Now we're getting into Marvel, and the cover shows it all. It says it all. Shows it all, says it all, does everything. X-Men are back. We're getting the next chapter in X-Men. So that's the big thing in this book is X-Men issue number 1, which I'm going to be trying out every single issue number 1 that comes out. So the artwork looks really good for X-Men 1. So I will absolutely 100% be checking out X-Men 1. I'll be checking out X-Force issue number 1. You got my man Deadpool in there. I got to check it out. I got it. It's Deadpool. I have to. Nyx or NYX issue 1. I'm definitely checking out. Laura's in it. I love X-23. We've also got Miss Marvel in it. I've got to do it. Got it. And then Phoenix got some really nice covers. So even if I don't like the story, the first issue, the covers are amazing. I'm probably going to end up getting the Greg Land cover along with the foil cover for the first issue. It just looks really good. Then we've got Aliens versus Avengers. Of course, Marvel took Aliens and Predator. We had Predators versus Wolverine. Why not Aliens versus Avengers? I will definitely be reading it. What I don't like and what I probably unfortunately won't be reading is Weapon Extraction, because they're taking it and putting it in several books that I normally don't read, like the Hulk, Captain America, Fantastic Four. Don't read any of those. Immortal Thor, I'm far behind on. I might be reading Avengers, and Spider-Man and X-Force I will be reading. But basically, to get the full story, you're going to have to buy all these books. And they're charging extra, of course, because they want, they're putting an extra story in there. If anything, I'll probably end up reading this story, Weapon Extraction. If not digitally, I'll get it as a collected book later. But I'm not going to be grabbing every single issue that it's a part of. I have most of them. 1, 2, 3, 4 parts out of it. So basically half of the story I won't be able to read because I don't read half of the books. Deadpool Wolverine World War III. Hell yeah. Last part. But the first issue, I don't want to spoil too much because I am going to do it in a review. Yes. Just yes. So good. It was so good. And then we got the facsimiles. I'll be grabbing both the Wolverine meeting Deadpool and Deadpool issue number 1s. Grabbing both of those. Events should be standalone issues, and I agree that weaving into main titles is overkill. Sometimes, especially if it's in the middle of a story. If it's in the middle of a story, I agree. If it's Wolverine Deep Cuts, I'll be checking that out as well, by the way. If it's something that's unnecessary, then I definitely agree. But if it's a character that's involved in the story, it depends on how involved they are. And with Blood Hunt, it's everyone who's in New York at the moment. Life of Wolverine one-shot, definitely grabbing that. Of course, this is Disney. Wolverine and Deadpool at this point, these are the books coming out in July. That's when the movie's dropping. That's when you could expect to see a lot of Wolverine and Deadpool. I'll be reading mostly everything Blood Hunt. So the final part to Blood Hunt is going to be coming out in July, along with Midnight Suns Blood Hunt Part 3 of 3 and Dracula Part 3 of 3. I don't know which of the two. If not, maybe I'll be reading both. Who knows? But I'm going to be trying everything out Blood Hunt related. And it's called Red Band, not Red Tape. I'm going to have to fix the topic video to say Red Band. Blood Hunters 3 and 4 coming out, and that's going to be ending the anthology books, which is really... I like the first issue. I'll talk more about it, like I said, next time. Avengers, which is connected to Blood Hunt. That's going to be ending. Doctor Strange connection. And Doctor Strange is a huge connection, especially if you read the first issue. Vengeance of Moon Knight, and we've got Werewolf by Midnight. It's a one-shot that's coming out for Blood Hunt. I believe we're supposed to be getting some others. Union Jack, I think that's going to be the only one where I'm kind of probably going to skip Union Jack. Black Panther I might try, and of course the Hulk is getting his own little one-shot. So I'll be trying that out. Then the Amazing Spider-Man mini, Strange Academy mini, Miles Morales. This might get me into... I'm going to be honest, now, where I understand this comment, I'm going to say this. For people like me who have been out of comics for a while, This event is going to gateway me into so many different books, like Fantastic Four, for example, like Miles Morales, like Moon Knight again, and stuff like that. Now, I mean, you got the one shots like these that it really wouldn't matter because they're one shots. And I will say, I love Peach Momoko's art for the variants. I'll probably end up grabbing those. Uh, it's a gateway for me to get back into so many other books that I haven't had a chance to read up until now. Black Widow Venomous, I might grab it if not for the cover alone. It looks really nice. I'll give it a shot. I know that Black Widow apparently got her own symbiote at some point. Namor is going to be a hard pass. Namor, I've tried so many times and it never stuck. Namor just never stuck with me. Daredevil, I might try at some point again. I fell out of it. I probably won't be doing the miniseries, The Woman Without Fear. I'm surprised Elektra's still Daredevil after Daredevil returned. As far as the Ultimate comics go, the only Ultimates I'm going to be reading are probably Ultimates, the Avengers team in the Ultimate Universe, and Ultimate Spider-Man, because those are the two I've been enjoying the most. X-Men, Black Panther just did not interest me. Spider-Man Reign 2, I might try that one out. It looks really interesting. First issue's coming out. Amazing Spider-Man. I'm really interested in Spider-Goblin. I'm really looking forward to seeing what this whole thing with Spider-Goblin is. I've been collecting all the black costume variants. I've been trying to keep up with what's going on now. I know it's all culminating to the 50th issue. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this whole Spider-Goblin is. Apparently Peter Parker is going to be a goblin at some point. Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider, I'll definitely be checking this series out. I'll probably be getting it. And then also Spectacular Spider-Man. Humberto Ramos' art. It's a hit or miss. I read the first issue and I've read the second issue now. It's pretty strong. I kind of feel bad. I think I got Symbiote. Yeah, I did get Symbiote Spider-Man 2099 1 and 2. I'll probably just end up getting the rest of the series through Midtown. So I'll get 3, 4, and 5 through Midtown unless I actually get 5 through DCBS. I mean, Tevye, let's just stop writing Spider-Man. I mean, everything that they do with Spider-Man at this point, you're like, why are they doing it? And then Venom, we've got the Venom Wars starting up here, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm not starting up. We got Separation. No, yeah, Separation Anxiety Separate. We got Venom Wars Prelude, and then we've got Separation Anxiety, which is something I'm going to be checking out. And then you got the Venomverse Reborn, which is interesting. I'm going to try the first issue out. I'll see if I'll still be reading it. Same thing with Scarlet Witch. I haven't really warmed up to Spider-Boy yet. I tried. I really did. But, I actually own the original issue of Spider-Man, 254 as well. I believe it comes with it does not. There's no foil cover for that. So that one I'm probably going to be skipping on. But I hear they're making a hardcover of all the facsimile issues. So I'll probably end up grabbing that just to have the full series. And speaking of, we've got Secret Wars issue 7. I'll be probably grabbing that because I'm collecting all the foils. Silver Surfer, X-Men, Era of Apocalypse. I'm probably going to be skipping on that miniseries because that's been going on since before the relaunch. Annihilation 2099. I don't know, but I might check it out digitally. I will say that because it's 5 weeks worth. Every week a new one's coming out. Helverine. It was a good miniseries first time around, or whatever, a crossover first time around. So I'm going to try the miniseries out. Get Fury. I haven't tried the issue yet. I am interested in seeing what's going to happen with Iron Man and Emma Frost. I might grab Invincible 20. I'm not grabbing any of the annuals because they all have something to do with Infinity Watch. It's its own little story going on. Marvel Ground Zero, I believe it's a collector's. It collected. Yeah, it's all from the free comic book day stuff. So if you missed the free comic book day books and you want to pay $6.99, go for it. If not something that is needed. Immortal Thor and Captain America. Hopefully I catch up on Thor. Ghost Rider Final Event. I'm not getting any of these books. I'm really not interested in any of these characters, unfortunately. But for some people, you might be. The What If Aliens, I feel bad I missed out on it. Star Wars, I'm not really interested in Inquisitor, but I will be grabbing Ahsoka issue number 1. I believe it's going to be the same thing like they did with the others. It's just going to be a comic version of what we got in Disney+. Darth Maul, what do you call this one? Black, White, and Red. I'm getting this miniseries. I'm very happy I am. The first issue was really, really good. Star Wars, I think we're gearing up to get to the point where we get to the final of the first 6 movies. I think they're about to rescue Han. Or they're going to get close to it. I'm not sure. They talk about Luke joining the dark side, so they're following something, and then we're getting into all the collected books, which we're not going to get into all the collected books. But I will say, of course, for the month of July, we're getting a lot of Deadpool, a lot of Wolverine books, a lot of epic collections with both of them. So, and then there's the poster for X-Men. It's nice, but I don't think I need a vertical poster per se. There's no room for it anywhere. But those are my preview thoughts. Those are the books that I'm probably going to be reviewing, reading, and collecting. Lots of good stuff from Marvel. I'm hoping that with DC, once the Batman arc that's going on is over, maybe I'll get back into more Batman and maybe more DC. But for right now, Marvel's been holding me strong. As I've said since day one of this channel, it is a wave. For a while, Marvel's ahead of DC, and then all of a sudden, DC does something and gets ahead of Marvel again. It's going to be a forever changing wave. One wave goes out, the other one comes in, and then they switch it up again, and then they switch it up again, and then they switch it up again, and then sometimes they stay right next to one another, and then sometimes they're both back, sometimes they're both forward. Right now, for me, Marvel's ahead of DC. It isn't the first time that's happened. It isn't even the second time that's happened. This is about the third time that's happened, because when the New 52 came out for 5 years, Marvel was ahead of DC. But anyway, moving on from that, I have a lot I'm looking forward to, which is the important thing. So let's talk about the topic at hand. And honestly, I want you to listen closely, Tevia, because this is important, and I think this will help you out a little bit too. One thing I talked about in my podcast a while back, not a while back, 2 weeks back now, the Chaotic Avenger podcast, I talked about motivation, and I talked about it in my spring update. I'm going to talk about it here, and I am actually going to screw my first podcast over by taking the main topic that was going to be for the first podcast. But I feel like, especially now, is a perfect time to start talking about this, since this is something that's starting to come up, not only in my comments, but it's starting to happen on YouTube. I must have good timing. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. I don't know. But my topic for my Dark Avenger podcast, coming back, the main one was, is YouTube helping or hurting comic books? The comic community, the industry in general, is YouTube helping? And that's not what we're going to really talk about. But I mean, that was what the topic question is going to be. I'm not going to repeat it on the podcast. I'll figure something else out for the podcast now. But here's how I feel when it comes to that YouTube and the situation at hand. I have been away for 5 years. Now, I started my review up a few times, and then my motivation kind of died. I talked about this on the Chaotic Avenger podcast, how I was trying to get a good idea of what I wanted to do with the comic reviews. I wanted to kind of shrink the reviews down. I wanted to get it just right, and I wanted to really bring it back. I wanted consistency to be the most important thing, and then life was getting in the way at that point when I started it up again too. So I had to wait for things in life to slow down or to find their norm, so this way I could come back. And the beautiful thing is, life found a norm about a month ago. However, the motivation still wasn't there. And I slowly realized that certain people I watched, and I'm not going to make anybody famous or unfamous or talk on anybody, but certain channels I watched, and it was pointed out to me by a few people also in my Discord group, because I would be watching it and then saying, gee, look at this, that, and the other thing that's being talked about. Certain channels make a living off of talking about how bad the comic industry is, how bad Marvel is, how bad DC is, how bad the big two are, how they're pushing this, pushing that, pushing the other thing, and whatever. Here's one thing that I didn't realize, though. When I was doing my reviews back in January, I dropped 2 books, maybe 3. That was it. Everything else, I was loving it. It was great. Yet other channels were talking bad about it. Now, I watched a channel talk about, ironically, Blood Hunt and how bad it was, and how, how it was. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get something. Okay. And how it was this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, it's issue number 1. It's issue number 1. It just came out. And then the funny thing was they were contradicting themselves in their video. They were saying it was terrible, it was crappy, the art was bad, and yet they were saying it looked really good and the story looked interesting and it was fun. You can't have fun and crappy in the same place unless unless there are two stories in the same singular book, which there wasn't. So my point is, though, either you liked it or you didn't like it. Now, you're making a living on your channel by saying about all the bad stuff going on in comics. So I get it. You can't say that the comic's good because then your audience is going to go, hey, what are you doing? Hey, that's fine. However, for people who are new to the comic industry, new to the comic community, new to reading or wanting to get into comic books, seeing videos like that makes newer readers kind of apprehensive about getting into reading comics, getting into collecting comics, getting into anything related to comics, because they're seeing all these negative videos. They're seeing all these people talking about how horrible Marvel's doing, how horrible DC is doing, how everything is about to collapse and sales aren't great. Let me tell y'all something, okay? Now, I'm no genius when it comes to money and numbers and whatnot. And the one website I used to go to shut down, where it told you about all the numbers and all the sales and what comics sold the most, what comics sold the least, etc., etc. That site's gone, unfortunately. However, if the comic book industry was going the way these people were talking, the comic industry would have closed down 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 2 years ago. It would be closing down right now. It's not. Why? Because Disney and Warner Brothers, the two owners of Marvel and DC, are multi-billion-dollar companies. Disney's going through a lot of hell right now, but the cost to run Marvel is way lower when it comes to making comic books than it is for, like, for example, what they're doing on Disney Plus, or what like the movies they're doing and whatnot. I forgot. Somebody was explaining how the cost of making comics and the comic book, like what they have to give them per year, is nothing compared to what all they're doing with the rest of the company. Same thing with Warner Brothers and DC. And Warner Brothers, honestly, in an ideal world, it'd be funny if Warner Brothers ends up selling out to Disney. I would laugh. Warner Brothers is going through hell too. Yeah, I will tell you, I started with Disney. Now I'm going to Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers isn't doing so hot either. They're not. And here's the real funny thing, right? Y'all have seen already about Winnie the Pooh and Mickey, the original first version of Mickey. Here's the thing. That goes for all the comic characters too. At a certain point, the copyright for those characters are going to start going. One by one, the public figure, or I forget what they call it, but basically the right for DC to own the character solely is going to end, just like with the original Steamboat Willie Mickey, just like with Winnie the Pooh. Eventually, Disney is going to lose the copyright for every single one of their superheroes, one by one. That means anyone can write about Superman, anyone can write about Batman, etc. Same thing with Marvel, Spider-Man, what have you. One day, everything will become public domain. You only get approximately 100 years of copyright before the figure becomes a public domain. So let's see, what's this? The rights to hold old versions of Superman and Batman will go public. Exactly. And see, whereas, for example, with DC, which I find it hilarious, they have to do Superman in accordance with, if you look at the front of the Superman books, it's in accordance with the Jerry Siegel family. When Superman goes public domain, they could do whatever they want with Superman. However, if Marvel wants to produce a Superman book and it's public domain, they can do that too. Will they? I don't think so. I think there will be some type of a, and this is years down the road from now. I feel like at some point there's going to be a, just an understanding, an invisible kind of understanding where no one's going to steal any other character without paying a type of royalty or something. I don't know. But yes, copyright is definitely, basically DC will then own Superman. all versions of him, everything with him. And because he'll be public domain, the Siegel and Schuster family will have no claim to what goes on anymore. They won't have the copyright law to hide behind. And if it's 100 years, that means in 2038, we will we'll be through, I believe, 1938. Yeah, so it'll be 2038 is when 100 years will be up. We got James in here. What? People just have agendas. Just enjoy what you like. Exactly. All the stuff that was created before the copyright goes public domain, Tevi, probably the companies that created them will still own the rights to those stories. But anything that happens from the public domain era onward, it's just public domain. But here, no, we're going off subject. So my point is, though, we got a lot of people on YouTube who like to talk about doom, gloom, and the end of time and space. Listen, I survived through Gamersgate, Comicsgate, the second coming of Comicsgate, whatever's going on now that people are claiming is going on now. The thing is, it's very hard to explain, but for DC and Marvel to shut their doors, an impossible amount of things have to happen. Now, yes, readers are getting fed up. People are leaving comic books. Younger readers aren't coming into comics. But here's where this is where my point of view kind of starts to go, listen. We're here to talk about comics. I mean, everyone has a right to say and do and believe whatever they want. And I mean, if it's giving them money through YouTube, and Lord knows YouTube loves drama. I mean, that's where they make their money. So, of course, they're going to spotlight all the drama videos that are going on, whether it be TV, movies, comics, video games, whatever. It doesn't matter. Real life stuff is going to get highlighted, and the algorithm is going to favor those videos over videos such as this one, where I'm sitting here telling you the comic industry is not going to go anywhere. Comic companies have gone. Comic companies have returned. Valiant closed their doors 2 or 3 times already, and they're back. Image is doing great. IDW is struggling hardcore, but they're still pushing through. Okay, let's look at this real fast. One way to look at it is to look at your collection and your collecting habits and ask yourself, do you have what you enjoy, and do you have what others would like? Collect what you enjoy. Enough said. Exactly. But the thing is, a lot of people are saying negative and pushing negative things, and newer people, I agree with what you're saying, SM, 100%. I agree with you. However, you've got people who are so quick to say things are going to hell that newer readers that want to come in, newer people that want to come in, won't come in because they're like, oh my God, this place is a dumpster fire. It looks like this is happening, that's happening. Who's stealing money? What was this? I forget. Somebody said Mark Waid said he would sit there with a lighter and light the entire comic book industry on fire and watch it burn to the ground. That doesn't sound like something Mark Waid would say. Maybe he did say it. I don't know. To be honest, don't care. I wasn't here when that happened. But I do know that Mark Waid is still writing books, and he's still an excellent writer. So obviously he's not burning anything to the ground per se. But and I understand there are certain things. Like, I know that the fans have been fighting Marvel tooth and nail about Spider-Man. I know Tevye has been saying it since the day I met him about wanting One More Day undone. They've been going to conventions and harassing the writers, harassing Marvel, whatever, just give us what we want. People have spoke with their money. They spoke with their wallets. They spoke with their reviews and stuff, saying they want Spider-Man and Mary Jane back together. I think they're making Spider-Man's life a living hell. And it'd be interesting, a real twist of fate, if when Amazing Spider-Man 1000 happens, wouldn't it be funny if Mephisto shows up for Amazing Spider-Man 1000? Just a hot thought. I was thinking about it when I was taking the kids to school one morning. I don't remember what morning it was, but wouldn't it be funny if Marvel gives you all the biggest twist of fate and said, well, we were doing this, yes, we were doing it for a while. However, here we are, issue 1000. This is what we were working towards. That would be hilarious. It would be a twist of fate that no one saw coming, because I know that Nick Spencer was supposed to fix it, and then Marvel stopped him. Think about it. They were going to let him do it, and then they changed their minds. Why? So I don't think Marvel wants Spider-Man miserable. I think that they're trying something. Can I be wrong? Absolutely. We'll see when issue 1000 comes out. But will it stop me from buying Spider-Man? No. It's unfortunate that Pete's miserable, but eventually someone's going to take over, someone's going to do something, and it's going to change. Everyone's speaking with their wallets with Ultimate Spider-Man. Ultimate Spider-Man is spectacular. I don't know about any of you, but it is great. It is awesome. And I mean, come on. If you can't tell, even the Family Values one, or whatever the family book was, when they went into the Elseworld, when they had him, Mayday, her brother, and Mary Jane had superpowers, and there was that for a while. Everyone was eating that up for a while too, until it got stupid. But before that, everyone was eating it up because they wanted Pete and Mary Jane back together. And Marvel was like, well, here you go. Now you can stop complaining. And then they took it away from us again. But anyway, the thing is, you guys got to remember that things are constantly changing. We are in a world where things are changing every day. The world is not the same way it was 10 years ago. I'm not the same way I was 10 years ago. That's for sure. I've gone through many changes. Channels that preach doom and gloom are just using DC script. Exactly. And Marvel too. SM. Exactly. So the point is here, everybody. It's important, especially if you find people who are newer in comic books, to direct them to, especially if you see them in the comments. If you want to keep the community growing and you want to get people involved in the beauty and the love and the things that we enjoy most, which are comic books, you got to start telling them, hey, don't listen just to this guy. Go to, and then fill in the blank. I can't tell you how many channels I unsubscribed from that were doom and gloom. Got that mindset out of my mind, and I started subscribing to comic book shop YouTubes. I think I subscribed to like 2 or 3 of them. Really awesome shops talking about books coming out, the excitement about books coming out, podcasts that they had. Then I found some other people that were talking about books they were buying and how excited they were for collecting older comics, newer comics, and they did weekly shows picking up new books. The thing is, it's all about a mindset, and that's where the motivation started coming back to me. When I got away from all of those people that were saying, this is dying, these writers are horrible, this company's bad, they're not listening to you, money is low, the world is ending, Blood Hunt is terrible, but it's really not, because I sort of enjoyed it. Getting away from those people and getting into people who are just saying, hey, I'm picking this up, that up, and the other thing up. This was great. This was great. This was awesome. See, now I value people who are honest, though. If a book's bad, I want to hear that it's bad. I do want to hear when a book is bad or when somebody doesn't like a book and they're dropping it. And that's why, and this is going to be a little plug here. That's why I enjoyed getting back into watching my old Cruise videos. I started with Mike Spider Slayer first. I started watching his videos again. I'm really happy for him. He's got like over 1,000+ views on every single one of his videos. He puts out really great content. I always tell people to check him out. He's great. Then I went to Brant's new channel, which he calls Only Good Comics, OGC. Really happy he made a new channel for himself where he can review comics and talk about only the best things in comics. I'm so happy to see that Brant kind of got his own little foot in and broke away from his main channel and started his own specific comic review channel. I thought that was awesome. Again, only talking about good comics, but he does talk about the bad too. I did notice a few times where he's like, this book, I'm going to try it, but I can't promise I'm going to like it. But he's honest. These are honest people. And then Kat has been continuing her comic reviews since before I left, and it's good to see that she's still reviewing books, and it's good to see that her opinions are still very, very vastly different from where Brant and I have like a similar liking to certain books. I see that Kat has her likings to her books, and it's a good dynamic to have somebody who likes books that we don't read, or it's good to have people that read all different types of books. So in the end, you have 3 people I just mentioned who read a wide variety of books and find a positive thing to say about all of them. Even if one hates it, another one will like it and explain why they like it, and vice versa. So it's really good to see that they've stuck around. I'm honestly upset because when I stopped my reviews, I said I'm leaving the comic community in good hands. There were a lot of reviewers out there that disappeared almost the exact same year I did. I don't even know where Pete from Pete's Basement went. He disappeared. Pete's Basement hasn't made a video in years. I was like, I'm leaving and Pete's Basement's still going on. That's great. At least the world will have Pete's Basement and they'll keep things going. Thank God the Frontline Crew, which is now basically rebranded to Comic Book Weekly, it's good to see that that crew stuck around and everybody had someone to listen to some positive things going on in the comic book industry too. And their show is going to be live tomorrow, by the way. Don't forget to check them out. They'll be live tomorrow night at, geez, I forgot the time, either 8 or 9 o'clock p.m. on Comic Book Weekly's YouTube channel. It's really great. I've been reconnecting with them. I've been commenting on the videos. I've been starting to watch videos. I watched videos a while before I started commenting. Now I started commenting on the videos as well. But and then you got people. I fell out of contact with so many people when I took my 5-year hiatus from online. And I have one friend in particular, and I talk about him often. And he's probably not going to watch this video unless a certain person who's watching this video now probably tells him to, if James is even still here. I had a good friend at one point. His name was JD. He was on this channel a few times. Really good friend of mine, and he truly believed in this channel when I was at a point where I was starting to kind of waver. And it's good to have friends like this. And his best advice to me was invest in yourself. Invest, get the best equipment, the best stuff, invest in your channel. And I guarantee you remember him. I know Tevye remembers him. And he was one of my biggest fans at that time. This is before I made all my friends on VR chat and I made the community I made on Discord. He believed in me. He sent me stuff for when I had my office set up, which I'm still setting that up. Eventually it'll be set up. But he was a good friend. Unfortunately, through the process of what happened at the start of my 5-year hiatus where I disappeared off the internet, due to what happened, I'm sure, among other things, I ended up falling out of communication with him. And there was some type of a miscommunication. Somebody said something on my Discord about a problem with somebody on VR chat, and the way they articulated it was very bad. And he got upset about it because it was a very strong subject. I went and did the research after he left my Discord and found out that, I found out it was true, but it was articulated very, very badly. And I went back and I fixed it and I told everybody what the true story was in a way better wording. And unfortunately, JD had already left. I still watch or check him out from time to time. I will admit, at first, when things kind of went south, and I noticed that he had basically cut all ties. I cut all ties as well. It was a bad time. It was a very bad time for me mentally. So, do I regret it? Absolutely. Was he a great friend? 100%. Do I miss him? Absolutely too. He was great to game with. He was great to talk with. He was a really good friend. There was one podcast. I ended up clicking it. He was interviewing this one person who piqued my interest. The person he was interviewing. I'm not going to say what it was about. Go check him out. Find that out. But he ended up talking about gaming. Like, I fast forwarded to when he started talking about gaming. And of course, I hit the one part where he decided to talk about me. And he wasn't lying. At one point in time, I was buying every single game and telling everybody in my friends group to buy the game so we could play it. And then I'd end up playing a default game. And we never end up playing the newer game as much as I was promoting it to. And the good news, JD, if you're watching, I don't do that anymore. I am honestly very loyal to a specific amount of games. The only new game I've got as of late was Helldivers. And I was loyal to that until the topic that we talked about at the start of the show, where I fell off of it because too much bullshit happened. But JD was a good friend. He was another person who, on YouTube, a lot of positivity. Wasn't as much into comics. Did talk about comics a bit. However, always about positivity. I love JD. JD's a great guy. Out of the list of people I fell out of contact with, he is part of the top 5 people I would like to get back into contact with at some point in time. Maybe not today or tomorrow, but maybe one day. And I know a few people who are already asking if the band's getting back together, if I'm going to be doing collaborations and stuff again. No, not right now. I'm not saying no forever. when I get all of my stuff on my channel back to a consistent way, and I earn what I've been trying to get for this channel ever since the adpocalypse happened. Thank you, Logan Paul, Mr. United States Champion over in WWE now. I want to get my AdSense back for this channel. And that's going to require a lot of work right here. 4,000 hours viewed. I've got the subscribers. I need the 4,000 hours viewed or 10 million views on my shorts. I think the 4,000 hours is a little bit easier, especially with all the videos I do. It'll be a lot easier to attain 4,000 viewed hours over 10 million hits on shorts. I'd have to do about 1 million shorts to get close to 10 million. It's not going to happen. The good news is I have a year to do it. It's 4,000 views in a year. 3,000 if I want to start the club up. But I know a lot of people don't do the club thing on YouTube. So 4,000 to get my AdSense back. And that's the goal. That's what I want to do. Once I get consistency back, once I get all of my channel back up and running, can get some AdSense going on, yes, I can definitely say in the future, absolutely. I know the person that commented, I believe it was on one of Brand's videos. I said, absolutely, once I get things back up to speed and get things rolling. I don't even have to have AdSense yet. As soon as I get my consistency back and I start to see the views building up and the hits starting up and my videos are being consistent week by week, yes, absolutely. Because then I've got all my main stuff going on. Why not? Why wouldn't I want to have people come hang out on the channel, do videos with people again? The only thing is I probably would want to do videos for this channel, like I said, to get the AdSense back, but that doesn't mean that I wouldn't want to work with people again. Absolutely. But for right now, I've got to center my focus on just me and getting my stuff consistent again. Because my biggest problem was consistency and sticking to one thing. I am definitely wanting to stick to one thing. There's a really awesome bean right there. Hello, Warmly. Welcome to the stream. This is the first time that you have commented on YouTube. Welcome in. Warmly is actually a really awesome community leader to one of the Discord communities I'm in. He's a really, well, they're sweetheart. Love them completely. I'm sorry, Warmly. I know it's a he, she. I know you mentioned that, so I shift between the two, I guess, for you here. But Warmly is awesome. Love Warmly. I've hung out with them many a times. Yes, it's very, but I don't care. It's fine. It's me talking about it, so it works. But anyway, the main important thing for all of you to take from this thing is the Dark Avenger channel is back. Life is starting to breathe through here again. And we're going to be going through a lot of stuff. We're going to be going through a lot of stuff together. Did you find out any more info about the one above all? No, I am going to probably be purchasing the book, though. Warmly, actually, we were talking about the one above all, which is basically God in the Marvel universe. Really, really interesting stuff that I didn't know about that I'm learning about. I've been looking into. Oh, Perfect Iron Man. That was an interesting series. You'll like that. Speaking of old friends, will you reconnect with Jay? I've tried talking with Jay. To be honest, Jay doesn't do YouTube anymore, so probably not, because Jay isn't on YouTube. But I do. I mean, I've gotten certain messages, and we've messaged back and forth for sure. Oh, look at that. We got found footage. What's up, man? What's up? What's up? Welcome in. But Perfect Iron Man, I think you'll really find interesting, Warmly, if it's the Iron Man I'm thinking of. But anyway, I would love to reconnect with a lot of people. I mentioned JD. There are a bunch of other people I've worked with on here. Obviously, the Comic Book Weekly crew at some point. I would love to definitely open to collaborate again once things start to get back to a consistent basis. Not necessarily on Comic Book Weekly, because my Tuesday nights can be busy at times, unfortunately, for right now. But in a collaborative video sense, absolutely. I know a lot of people have already been asking, because Brant and I did a lot of videos together, did a lot of collaborations together, and they would like to see the band get back together. And anything's possible in the future. But for the present, I'm going to be working on my stuff, getting all that set up first. But send people to the positive YouTubers, send people to people that talk about the comic books as the comic books, instead of focusing on how the industry is failing. The industry is not failing. If the industry was failing, it wouldn't still be going on. Yes, comic shops are closing, but guess what? Hardware stores are closing, supermarkets are closing, bookstores, like bookstores are closing. Certain chain stores are closing down and calling for bankruptcy. Everything is closing. Things are closing constantly. Just because a group of comic shops are closing does not mean that the industry is dying. That's another thing. You also have, as Warmly says, everything is going online. Digital comics. Now, I know that Amazon lost Comixology, but Marvel, for example, has their own website now where you can get their books. And I believe DC Comics has their own website now where you can get their digital books. All that's left of the independents, which I'm sure the other companies have their own thing that they're doing. So yeah, things are going a bit digital. So it makes it harder. I see a Mike T. Digital's taking over. Exactly. What's up, Mike? It has been 3 years? 2 years? Where have you been, dude? Hopefully you're doing good. Shit. Physicals, definitely. Yeah, it's in its final leg. I think once our generation is done, my new Xbox doesn't even... Oh, mine do. I got the disc tray version, bitch. I got them both. I didn't want to go fully digital in case I ever lost my my system for whatever reason or my account. No way. I stick with physical still. Yeah, Amazon shut it. Oh wait, they did it with what? Wait, hold on. Anyone who could get on my Twitch, that would be really possibly, and ban the person that's typed that. It would be really appreciated. But anyway, I know. Well, I'm live now. That's the important thing. I don't like it, but the new blood coming in doesn't care about owning anything. It's all streaming and streaming. Yep, that was a bot. So anybody who's on my Twitch would really appreciate a... I might actually try to go on my own Twitch and moderate it real quick, just because I don't like having that on my Twitch channel. And then I'll just... Yep. Nope, don't see it on there. So somebody got rid of it because the last comment I see is Darth. So whoever did it, thank you. Because it's not there anymore. But I will leave it up just for now. So this way. My Twitch is the same as my VR chat, is the same as my Discord, Dark Chaotic Falcon 86. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it got taken off. So somebody got it. Thank you, whoever is modding my Twitch. I really appreciate that. Whoever's on there right now. Thank you. But yeah, no, Mike, I'm back. I'm back now to trying to get to consistency. I actually did a whole podcast about being demotivated by all the bullshit going on. But now we're here. We're back. 14 viewers. God, guys, I've missed all of you. I have missed all of you so much. It's good to be back. It's good to be talking with all of you again. Not being around, turning out when turn 30. Listen, dude, I fully get it. 100%. So I understand you, man. I understand that it gets busy. I've been there doing it right now. This is my free time while kids are asleep. Or, well, they went to bed. Now they're asleep. But I get it. Things be busy. But that's the important thing, right? I want to make sure to get things back on track. And we are. So I've got videos coming out now. We've got the topic video that came out. We got haul videos coming out. I actually do have another haul. I got last month's books in the mail, so I'm going to be doing that. I do want to do a review for the first 2 weeks of May. So I'm really going to try very hard to read all those books and get a review out before this Wednesday. So I don't have to worry about making 3 weeks worth of books. Because I do want to cover Blood Hunt. I do really want to share my thoughts or at least an overview on it. I am doing a Comics and Coffee on the first issue of Blood Hunt. Probably going to record that tonight. I have somebody from a certain group that has jumped in on Twitch. Hello. Welcome in, welcome. Oh, wait. Which is crazy to say because you met me when I was in 8th. I know. Oh, it's okay. Warmly's Twitch. Gotcha. Okay. But yeah, man, I've known Mike T since he was young. We were young at one time. Remember, you were in 8th grade. I was making videos at 19, and you started commenting on our videos. So much has changed. So many things have changed. But yeah, stick with as many positive reviewers as you can. We need more positive reviewers on here. I know that drama and doom and gloom are what really get the AdSense, coming in, get the hits, get the, what do you call it? The algorithm or whatever you want to call it. It's what brings in the money and the views, the drama. But I gots to be honest with y'all. Only believe 30% of the hype behind that drama because it's not true. Dude, we're all getting old. But the beauty of it is we're growing old together. My one regret, and I said this before, I'll say it again and again and again and again. I'm still saying I'm back just to piss off that one commenter on my video from about 8 months ago that says, how many more I'm back videos are you going to do? I'm doing this on purpose to piss that person off. I don't think that person watches anymore, but it's still fun to do just as a little eh. And it's also to a few other people who did not want me to come back, who were so happy. I'm sure they thought they got me to quit YouTube, but they didn't because I'm here. I'm still back. The world didn't need me back when I started Dark Avenger back in the day when I was 19. The world doesn't need me now, but we're going to do it anyway. You're going to get me anyway because this is what I love to do. This is what I love to promote. Superheroes and stuff like this that are behind me. This is the stuff that's important to people, to some people. And sometimes you learn something from it. The next generation coming up is going to need somebody to point them in the direction. And we're going to be those people. We're going to get old. We're going to get gray. I have a beard. I have to shave. This beard is, I know a lot of you like me with this beard, but it's at a point now where it's going to get shaved off and we're going to go back to the 5 o'clock shadow for a while and then it'll grow back in again. Okay. I know it's upsetting to a few people. I know it is. I know Brilly's very upset, but sorry for interrupting. How is the comic world? I haven't been keeping up. I'm going to be honest with you, dude. I'm finding out now. Stick around and we'll find out together. Quite honestly, stick around. As I'm going through it, I'm going to be finding out just about as fast as you will then. Mike, I don't know if you have Discord, but if you do, you really need to join my Discord group. There are a lot of really awesome people I need to introduce you to that I think you gel with really nicely. And we could hang out a bit more, possibly that way. So, yeah. What are these? The cat with the glasses. I like the cat with the glasses. We are back. I was never gone. Again, I was on hiatus for 5 years. I had real life events go on that prevented me. Well, there were real life events that happened and I had to take a break. Unfortunately, every time I was ready to come back, something else would come up. We are finally at the point 5 years later, +2, because I dropped my comic reviews a year previous. So it's been 5 years. My biggest regret is being away for 5 years because I've missed all of you. I've missed doing this. And every time I do another live show, I say, this is what I miss. This is what I've missed, is this right here. The viewers talking with all of you and doing this. This is what I want Dark Avenger Live to be. If I have people like all of you here every week, I'll never run out of stuff to talk about. I'll always have something that we can discuss and talk about on the live show. And that's what makes this show unique from everything else, is we can all talk as a group together about whatever's going on or whatever I want to talk about. But yes, this is what the comic community needs to be. And if you're interested in comic books, if you love reading comic books, and you're not going to be a full drama queen about what's going on, I highly recommend you do videos. It's always fun to see what people are picking up each and every week, what books they're enjoying each and every week. I've tried to get multiple friends of mine to start doing comic reviews and stuff. I know I mentioned it to JD. I know I mentioned it to Mike T. I mentioned it to a few people. Last big event I remember coming out was Flash War. Yeah, that was a while ago. Gotcha, man. Well, add me on Discord. Well, you still doing? I am. I do still have some Pokemon. I do still have What the Card. I am going to be opening up a bunch of Pokemon cards that I've had accumulating dust in my other room for a while. I will still be doing that. So I will still. During those 5 years, we had attacks on Titan. Finished this year. Finale. Great. That's great. You did for 2 videos, and then you stopped. Now life is busy. Now it's going to be harder for you. But anyway, I've let this go on for far too long. Anyway, just everyone, the comic industry is good. Are we in the best position? No. Is the world in a good position right now? No. Everything is kind of in a place right now. Doesn't mean anything's going to end anytime soon. Okay? Okay. Cool. So if you want to see the real truth about what's going on in the comic book industry, you really want to get down to the nitty gritty, you want to see how comics are going, Mike Spiderslayer, Only Good Comics, Cat Comic Uno, Comic Book Weekly. You've got people, just type in comic shops. I really wish I could remember some of them right now to tell you, but I'm following like 3 comic book shops. 3 that do weekly podcasts, weekly rundowns of the books they got, weekly deals that they're doing, stuff that's going on constantly. There are so many positive channels here on YouTube that unfortunately are buried underneath the drama ones that are getting all the hits because people want to believe that the comic industry is going to hell. People want to say DC and Marvel are in a shit place. I've seen comments on certain people's videos going, guys, don't buy DC and Marvel, just support the indies. It is important to support the indies, but DC and Marvel aren't in such a bad place. There are still some good books coming out of both companies. There's some really interesting stuff that's going to be going on with X-Men. There's some really interesting stuff going on in general with Marvel. Superman hasn't been this good in a very long time. Since I started my reviews, Superman hasn't been as good as he's been with the Brainiac thing going on right now. And with Absolute Power coming, that's going to be interesting. Things are okay. Could they be better? Absolutely. Could they be worse? Definitely. Find some positive reviewers out there because the drama ones are what are hurting the comic book industry. And they're the ones that are hurting the comic book community because no one wants to join our community because they think that we're all at each other's throats. The ones saying that things are good, the ones that are saying things are bad. And then everybody's causing drama in between towards one another. And then, on top of that, no one's wanting to read any new books, so it's hurting the comic book industry. So the people that are making these channels to expose the companies for how bad they are so that they can get their comic books back, they're making it worse. They're not making it better. I understand their opinions, and everyone on this platform has the right to share their opinions, but don't sit there and say, I'm sharing my opinion to make the comics industry hear us and make DC and Marvel great again. You're not. You're making it worse because now people don't want to buy the books, and it's not going to change the companies. They're either going to double down or they're just going to fail. And it's not as bad as people are saying, which is why, Tevya, I'm sorry to use you as an example, but you're here so you can defend yourself, which you really can't when it comes to this. The first issue of Blood Hunt dropped, and already people are like, it's a mess. 1 issue came out. 1 issue and a handful of tie-ins came out. It can't be a mess if it just started. Not to call you out, Tevya, but other channels are feeding that to other people, and people are starting to regurgitate that over and over. It's not a mess. It just started. It literally just started. Thank you. I'm glad you said that. I'm going to highlight that you said that so this way you see. I know I'm making a good point. I'm glad you understand because it just started. It can't be a mess. It's 5 issues. If by issue 3 it's very convoluted, you have every right to say it's a mess then. Then 100% preach and sing it to the skies, my friend, that it is a mess. But it is not a mess yet. It hasn't even started. Now, what do we got from Mike Spiders there? But it doesn't help that comic book media have not been that great recently, which I don't know how comic book media affects sales. It affects them greatly. Exactly. It affects them greatly. The media is what helps or hurts the comic industry. And that's why the world doesn't need me. They never needed me. And yet I'm here because I'm here to help all of you figure out what books you'd like to read. And if not, to hear what's really going on in the comic book world as far as the books and the news and stuff. That's what I'm here for. Whether it's needed or not is irrelevant. I'm here because I love doing this. I love this community. I love the people in it. I love people in general. Anyone from VR Chat, Warmly being one of them, will tell you I am one of those people that loves to be that kind of person for people. I love people in general. It's one of my things. I love entertaining. I love being there for people. It's just a thing. It's my biggest red flag is that I just can't help myself. I have to be this world's version of Superman. That's why I am Chaotic Falcon. I am the Chaotic Falcon of this world. Just that's how it is. I am the Dark Avenger Chaotic Falcon, and this is what I do. This is how I help people, or this is how I help people in the community that I love. I talk about what we all love together. Future's End, I remember that. I hated it. I think the event was, yeah, I remember back then, and it was whoa. It was whoa. Yep. Yep. But yeah, so we're gonna have some videos coming out soon. Look forward to all of that. If I have something to talk about next week, there'll be another Dark Avenger Live. If not, again, I'm looking for somebody to help me find comic book news. If you find comic book news and you'd like me to talk about it, either comment this video or feel free to join the Discord. I have a comic suggestion tab in my Discord. It is a gaming Discord mostly. However, I do still put all my comic stuff in there because it is who I am. Also, I hope all of you are happy that I put my beautiful persona, because I am a furry. I did come out as that. One of the many things I came out as in the 5 years I was away, amongst a few other things I came out as that I don't feel like I need to advertise it. If it does come up in conversation, I'll mention it, but it's not something that I'm here to go, oh, look, I'm this. My persona is now the mascot of the channel. You'll be seeing him in all of the thumbnails. Unfortunately, I didn't get to update this thumbnail, nor did I get to update the starting soon yet. However, they will be updated. And the artwork is done by my good friend Comet Tales. She is amazing. Her prices are so perfect. You can't find someone who has great art and great prices like Comet. Links in the description on my spring update video. Go check her out if you're looking for art. She is spectacular. Not comic book related, but thoughts on the new Superman movie. First look at the Superman. I think it looks good. I'm interested in seeing where James Gunn brings it. The Red Trunks are back. The S is interesting. I'm gonna wait and see where the movie goes. I'm gonna wait and see when we get more information. But suit looks good. I mean, at this point in time, when it comes to movies, you're never gonna get a 1-to-1 scale for the comic characters anymore. You're just not. It's just not gonna happen. So I gave up. Anyway, as always, links in the description below for all of my social media and all the places you can find me. Videos will be coming soon, so keep an eye out. If you like this video and you're new, click the sub button. This way I'm in your subscription page. And if you want to know when a new video comes out, click the bell. It's a new thing. Well, it's been a thing for a while, so it's a thing. It'll tell you when I upload a new video. And if you enjoyed this live show, if you enjoyed any video, feel free to click the thumbs up button. If you didn't like it, click the thumbs down button. Honestly, the thumbs don't even matter anymore because all YouTube cares about is how long you've watched the video. So if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't agree with what I said and you didn't like it, feel free to click thumbs down too. You have a right to share if you agree, disagree, liked or didn't like this video. But till next time, everybody, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and I will see all of you really soon in the next one. Have a great night, everybody.